So guys, welcome back. Now we'll be moving on to the high fidelity of this, where we now apply colors and every other thing. So I'm just going to highlight all of this, all right, instead of designing them again, and then copy them down. Now from the splash screen, we're going to change this screen to our primary color, which is our primary blue. So we are just going to go to our style and change this to blue 8. All right, and then change our logo to maybe white, which is gray 1. All right, then we want to come to the second page, and then most times when you're designing a wireframe, it's possible to miss some things. So when you're now doing the high fidelity, always remember to keep them in check. All right, so now we've done this, we can leave this as it is, or we could just touch up the colors a bit. Maybe take it to gray 9 for visibility sake. This one can still be black, this one can still be black. Now let's add image to these things. So to add image, I told us about a plugin named Pexels that help us with images. Now remember, I said I use multiples of 4 for most of my design, but here to here looks so big and it's not going to look nice on mobile. So I will just move this to here to make it like 8. Yeah, 8 works fine, and then 8 works fine, and 8 works fine. So I'll do the same thing here when I get there. So for images, I'll click on this, go to our resources, go to plugin and type Pexels, P-E-X-E-L-X. Then run it, and then once that is opened, you want to insert random images. Now this will insert random images on all your images. All right. Now also there's a plugin named Lorem Ipsum. Okay, so Lorem Ipsum is a plugin that puts text on your images. It's a Latin plugin that puts text on your images, or text anywhere you want it to be where you don't have a text yet. So we are just going to use Lorem Ipsum. So we'll delete this and then put a text. All right, maybe just type anything and then go to our text style and choose body text 14, or let's drop it to as low as 12. All right, 12 is still too big, but let's do that. So we go to resources, plugin, and then we type Lorem Ipsum. Most of you might know this plugin already. So when you type on Lorem Ipsum, it's going to pop up, click on run, and then once it comes up, it will ask you what you want to generate, 5 sentences or auto generate to fit this particular frame. So what I will do is I'll click on auto generate, and it's going to write Lorem Ipsum for me. Now I can duplicate Lorem Ipsum and then choose a smaller body text of like 10. Okay, or I can drop it to like 8, choose 8. Now if you're putting 8, remember you have to now add 8 to your style guide. Now I can duplicate it and then put my pricing to be $100. Maybe for $100 I can choose 10 body weight and then make it bold. So to make it bold, I have to come to the text style and then choose maybe semi-bold works. Yeah. So now I have this. Okay, I can remove all these ones now and then bring this one to this place and then duplicate twice to get it for all my designs. Now this looks good. Okay, then for my categories, just like I did for the images above, I want to use 8 because I'm more comfortable using 8 than 16. So same thing I can do here. Same thing here. All right, this goes to the middle. So now I can decide to change this to blue. All right, change the font also to blue, which is our primary color, and then leave these guys at gray. And then leave these other ones at gray. So now what this means is this guy, this first one, the women's section, will be our primary selection, which means whatever you're going to see here has to be for women, not for men. So when you click on men, it shows for men. You click on children, it shows for children. But you have to design a different page for all of that. So now we want to, instead of having all of this here, I'm just going to delete this and then pick this just like we did the first time, duplicate it down, and then have multiples of, duplicate this down too, and then have another one here. So now this looks like it's getting into shape. All right, so for this home button now, you can give it our primary color. Now we are still using our primary color. We've not used our secondary color yet, so we are still going to be using our primary color. While all this one, now this is where those shades of blue comes into play. So now this is primary blue. We can now use a shade of blue, maybe blue 3 or blue 2 or even blue 1, so that it can give us that feel. All right, now it's coming to shape. Now come to the product details page. We can now choose from pixels again, our plugin, remember, and then insert random image. I think I want a darker image. Maybe this lady will work. Yeah, so we can choose this lady and then come here, change our gray to white, and so it will come up, it will show well rather, and then change our arrow also to white. Okay, now this is looking good. Same thing we will do here. We'll bring in lorem ipsum and this. So we'll just copy one of the text, but it's small here. So that means we have to change the first one to maybe header 3. And then the small one to possibly body text 18. So this becomes our description. So let's change header 3 to header 4 rather. It's looking too big. Now perfect. So this becomes our header. Now we're going to have description here. So I'll drop our body text to 16 so it can fit. And then go to lorem ipsum. Now this time we are going to create a full sentence because we want to get full description of this product. Okay, so I'm going to create change here to sentence and change it to 3 sentences, and click on generate. It's going to generate a very long sentence for me, but I'm just going to delete this one and make use of this one. All right, so now we are done with that. I want to drop it further to 14, which makes more sense. Now my pricing is going to go here. It's going to go here. And then I'm going to drop my pricing header to 2. So sorry, header 4 rather. Or header 6. Yeah, I think header 5 should work. Yes, header 5 is okay. And then we can have that. Now this can also be black. Then this description can become gray 11. Remember when we were talking about the principle of design? We talked about having a design in view different from others. That is what I did here. So these ones are black, this one is not black. It tells you I want you to see this and the price before this one. Is that understood? So the size remains, I can still leave it at gray. All right, I can still leave these ones at gray. And now we have to change the color of our buttons. Okay, so two ways we want to do our buttons. Now we can leave them like this, or we can take this here and pull this under. So now our primary button goes back to its initial color of being a blue, and then our secondary button goes back to being the proud yellow it has always been. So the same thing we did for the previous one, we are going to change this to blue 1, and then change this to our primary blue. Now this looks perfect. All right, so on our checkout page we're going to do the same thing. I think I'm just going to copy this and keep somewhere here. Sorry guys, copy this and keep somewhere here because I'm going to use it. So delete these two because now we are putting text and everything. So it's looking bigger, so that means I have to reduce my header to the lowest, which is header 6, and then take this to the lowest, which is 10, and just move it like so. Now my pricing has to be, my pricing can remain the same, but I'll have to change the color to black. And for this, I can, for the quantity, I can decide to leave it like so, or I can decide to switch it up a bit by adding stroke, turning off the color, making my stroke 0.5, and then make this circle that we're here to be gray. So maybe gray 2 or gray 3, and then making my stroke also to be gray 3. And then I can just leave it like this. All right, now this is more beautiful. And then I can come to pixels again and add a random image. So I'll go to pixels, add a random image, or let me still use the same lady, and then proceed to checkout. Definitely will be our primary green, so I'll delete that. And then here I'll now have to change all the gray to a lighter blue, which is blue 1, and this to our primary blue, which is blue 7. Now we have the high fidelity of our wireframe. I want you to practice on your own and be happy that you did something nice. See you in the next section where we talk about prototyping.